What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? NBA fans, NHL hockey fans, tennis fans. We got golf on the docket tonight. Cleveland, what's good with you, man?
Oh, doing great, Cam. How about yourself?
Man, what's the weather like up there, man? Talk to us. It's
Oh
springtime.
man, I don't want to get into weather conversations, man. It's
What do
it's
you mean?
cold and chilly in the
It's
middle of
cold and
June.
chilly. It's June
Yeah,
15, man.
I know.
You, you say cold and chilly. Let the people know it's cold and chilly to you, man.
It's mostly cloudy, 60 degrees. A
I mean,
westerly
June
breeze.
gloom.
That's kind of brisk. So yeah,
June gloom. Looking forward to the July blaze, huh? That's how you guys thinking about it?
I mean that's what we're crossing our fingers and hoping for, but who knows, man?
Yeah.
It's awful.
What's up? What's up, TP?
VP, what's going down?
But yeah, let's get to it. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. I am your man Cam. That's my man Cleveland up in the Northwest. We just talking about a little weather there. This is Voice of the Fans. This is Cleveland 195 episode of Voice of the Fans podcast. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. We want to thank our guy from HMB Media for helping with the production of the show. And Cleveland, we've got a lot to talk about. We got the NBA Finals as I talked about. The tennis is back, and I know you want to talk some tennis, so we're gonna get that on the docket for you. But as each and every week, we talk about this week in history, and then always we want to give a shout out to everybody tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Um, once again, Cleveland is June 15th, 2022, week 195. And we get started with our numbers as we do each and every week. When you think of the number 15, Cleveland, who comes to your mind first, or who are their number best?
Cam, who comes to mind first is Carmelo Anthony, first at Syracuse, and then again with the Denver Nuggets. Who wore it best is probably Roller Pearl Monroe.
Wasn't him. I tell you that it wasn't him. Jess Hostetler come to my mind first. Fans, I want to
Oh,
know who
wow,
comes to my mind
really?
first. Yeah,
Okay,
Jeff Hostetler, the backup quarterback, stepped in and won the Super Bowl for the
that's
New York
cool.
Giants.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
he actually won
Okay.
a championship for a New York team versus that other guy you was talking about.
Ooh,
I mean, even
wow.
Barstar, or again, I thought you went to the UW. You talked about you was always down there on Mont Lake, traveled across the Mont Lake Bridge. Did you ever do the row? Were you out there where they had the rowing competitions, rowing the boats across the bridge?
No, I wasn't in the competitions. I did do some rowing. As you well know, the University of Washington has won multiple rowing championships. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself one of the greatest rowers in the country or anything, but
Please,
yeah, I got out there a few times, like
you got,
Lake Union on the back end. Yeah, it's fun.
but you don't even recognize Anthony Allen, wide
He,
receiver,
he was
the
cool.
number
He was
15
cool.
for the Washington Huskies.
Again,
You
Cam,
don't
what
even
are we
recognize
talking
him.
about? We're talking about who comes to mind first and who wore it the best.
Husky fans, I'd be ashamed if they call that guy alumni. Number 95. When you think of number 95, who wore that number best, or who comes to your mind first?
You know who comes to mind first would be that menacing pass rusher from Chicago Bears, Richard Dent.
Oof,
Did he wear it the
oof.
best? Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
I mean, did he wear it better than Bubba Smith? Well, I mean, I'm gonna say I'm gonna give him the nod over Greg Lloyd, but Bubba Smith, Richard Dent was the first person to come to mind. Just to, I mean, you call him menacing, I call it devastating, and I think that's what he was uh, more prone to be. Cleveland, man, let's get into this finals talk.
Oh, hey, Cam, before we do that, Cam, before we
Oh,
do that, before we
oh,
do that,
yeah.
I
What
just
we got?
want to give a shout out, fans and followers. Congratulations to former Miami Dolphins safety Mika Fitzpatrick for becoming the highest paid safety in the history of the National Football League. Fans, it wasn't long ago that a coach ran him out of town, ran him out of the 305 for not being a part of the culture. Mika had to do some soul searching.
Oh,
He had to refine himself
oh my goodness.
And fortunately, he
Oh,
landed
that's where you're
with a
going.
team and a culture and an environment that was able to embrace,
guy.
a lot of the, mental mindset
Ain't
and
this some
emotional content
shit?
that he brings to the game.
Ain't
So,
this some shit? All right.
Mike Tomlin was able to sit him down, brought him to the house a few times, let him play with the kids a little bit, and he was all of a sudden a much better man, person, and it translated into being a better football player.
Oh, so wait, hold on.
I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry, Cam, I'm not quite finished, man. We're not really quite sure what would have happened were he able to stay in the 305 in the blue and teal. I mean, playing with Xavier Howard. I mean, what could have been, right? I mean, the premier safety. I mean, other than in the last 25 years, you want to say, of course, Ed Reed, Earl Thomas, Troy Polamalu, but maybe this Minka Fitzpatrick is right below them. I mean, just barely. But I just want to say, shout out to Minka for being signed as the highest paid safety in the history of the National Football League. That's all I wanted to say. So we can roll that right back into the NBA talk that you were
you think you gonna get off and derailing the show, and I'm not gonna comment on that? Are you fans? I hope you guys watch the show. If you watch the show, Cleveland, oh my goodness, I'm in a good mood today, and I'm not gonna let Cleveland and his comments try to upset me. That's what he's trying to do right now. He's trying to upset me because I mentioned seasons ago. I mentioned seasons ago this whole scenario. And Cleveland laughed, ha ha, tee hee, woohoo, baha. Minka, he's not that important. He's one of those Alabama kids. He couldn't fit into the culture. Now he want to say he wouldn't got some tutelage. But fans, let me remind you, the 5 weeks immediately after the trade, he had an interception. He won the AFC Player of the Week. Okay, he finished the season he was traded as the number one safety in the league with the most receptions or interceptions in the league as a safety.
Hey, fans,
the same season he was traded.
Go back and look at the tape.
Season he was traded.
Go back and look at the tape. When they traded Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam turned his head to the side and was on the side of the coach and the organization with regards to what type of
Cleveland,
malcontent he was at the
time. He's a malcontent. I never called him the malcontent. I told you there was a problem with the coach at the time when he made this decision to trade away some of their best players. I told you that at the time. You're talking about the culture. He is the culture. That player, I told you that 2 years ago before they traded him. That guy is the culture. You don't trade him away. And now they're looking to draft a guy to replace him. But they sent him to Pittsburgh. That was idiotic. Flat out idiotic. You know what? I called it then, and now Cleveland want to try to rub it in my face. Congratulations to Minka Fitzpatrick for having an attitude adjustment. But it wasn't an attitude adjustment. He needed to be on a team who allowed players to play. And I told you that was a problem with that.
Hey, Cam, all I was doing was trying to reach out and say, hey, congratulations to Minka Fitzpatrick for becoming the highest paid safety
he knows
in the history of the National Football League.
He knows that's necessary. He's seen the show. He knows what I feel about that. So you try to bring that up with one, that's water under the bridge. That's
Exactly. That's exactly what you did when they traded him. He was one of the, as I was looking through his text messages that he posted online. I think you were the third or fourth person that he texted. Man, like, Cam, do you believe this? And you just were like, it's a business.
Shame on you. Shame on you. See, you're gonna make me go back and rewind. You're gonna make me rewind the tape. Cleveland, you know that's not absolutely true. Fans, you know what's up. That was an absolutely preposterous trade at the time. I called it at the time because again, they're still looking for a safety to replace a guy who happened to be. Not only did it produce immediately upon being with the organization who had a game plan to win, but then he immediately produced, and now he's the highest paid defensive player ever. Cleveland, come on now. Shame on you for even trying to go this direction with the trying to
I
throw
was
me
just,
in
I was just
cover.
saying
Shame on you.
congratulations on Mika
Yeah,
Fitzpatrick.
that was
You know, in the trials and tribulations that he's been through, you know, giving his heart and soul to the Miami Dolphins, and then, you know, being told he wasn't part of the culture, and then, you know, having to move on, resurrect, and reinvent himself, and now he's the highest
and it,
paid safety in the history of the National Football League.
and then oddly enough, Flores ends up coaching with the Pittsburgh Steelers 2 years. Now he's on the coaching staff. Not sure what he does, but good riddance to him. But Cleveland, shame on you for even trying to bring that up and derail the show. Hey, now you kind of got me bothered. That's what you was trying to do with it in the beginning. Now you got me bothered because Mika Fitzpatrick, you draft a guy like this. Not I mentioned it already. You're still trying to replace this guy. You're trying to replace the guy who brought talent, skills, ability. Fans roll the tape on what Mika Fitzpatrick did. In college, he did the same thing at the Dolphins, and then immediately did the same thing when he joined the Pittsburgh Steelers, who actually made the playoffs that season. And he led the team to the playoffs. That's all Cleveland was trying to do. He's trying to push my buttons because he know that was a sensitive subject, and the Dolphins had no business with it doing that trade. That was an absolutely preposterous trade that you can't make up for. And to say he had a bad attitude, you trade the coach. In that scenario, you get rid of the coach who's been there for one season and doesn't understand, who can't identify and evaluate talent properly. If you can't see that he was the best player on the team, you can't get rid of the best player on the team. And to say he's not, it's because of bad culture, you need to get out of here. That is a culture. Goodbye. I'm done. Keep on. Cleveland got me riled up. That was his whole intention, and I let it happen. That was his whole intention, and I let it happen, fans. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry, fans. I apologize for that. But that was his whole intention. I knew better. I should have known better than that. I should have known better. But let's talk about this NBA Finals. Cleveland, a little ticked off right now at you. What's your thoughts on this Finals? Let's crack some jokes at first. What do you think about the ban for Fake Clay? Fake Clay getting into the gym. You know, you saw the video. Did you see the video of Fake Clay? You saw the video. He walks in. It's probably 50 steps, maybe 60 steps from the time he went to the metal detector and checked his phone in to the time you can get to the court. It's probably literally 60 steps. You have to kind of duck down and, it's not a straight shot, but you kind of got to make your way there. He made his way and went start shooting. Is that a fair ban, man? Should he be banned? Because security. And I'm surprised. I wish I'd have known that. I don't want there to be a Game 7. I hope the Warriors finish it out tomorrow night. I don't want there to be a Game 7. I didn't budget for a Game 7. But I would give those security guards a hard time because they gave me a hard time. And now they just let somebody sneak up on the court. Come on, now, guys. Which one of you guys are paying attention to this? So I thought that was funny. But should he have a lifetime ban at the Chase Center? Your thoughts?
No, but there's so much embarrassment with regards to what you're just saying, Cam.
It is. It is.
I agree. That I agree. Regular people, and then you let someone that's supposed to be, a 3-time NBA champion, just walk past you like, oh, hey, Clay, like that's, yeah. Was it a fear factor? Was it just everybody?
No, you're clearly not. You're clearly not.
I don't really know what came of it. I mean, dude is nowhere near 6'6", right? And I mean, he's got the Clay, whip from like 2.5 years ago, right?
I mean, hey, they're clearly not paying attention.
At the pro for a little bit now, right?
Yeah, they're clearly not paying attention. So
it's kind of like the Jay-Z with the the smooth fade just walk through, and that's not what Jay-Z looks like right now.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so what do you think of the series, man? It's not a laughing matter for the Celtics. They had opportunity. If we take it back to, I haven't talked to you since what? It was 1-1. The Celtics go up and they win Game 3. Win Game 3 with contributions from everybody. I think Brown, Smart, and Tatum each had over 25 points, I think, or 24 points plus in that game, kind of mustered up victory. They were, at that time, undefeated after a loss in the playoffs. So they had won 7 in a row. That win, game 3 win, gave them 7 wins in a row after a loss. So showing they do have some bounce back ability. Um, so they win game 3. Game 4, Steph Curry goes off. Probably his signature game of his career, right? I mean, if there's he has a lot of highlights. He's made a lot. He got a lot of points. Obviously, the NBA 3-point champion. But was that has to be the signature game of his career, right?
Would have to agree, Cam. I mean, there's no bigger moment. I mean, they absolutely had to have it, and the game was certainly in jeopardy at numerous occasions, and he pulled those guys out of the fire. So, yeah,
So
that would have to be his signature moment to this point.
in that game, he hit he in 3 games in a row. He hit 5 3-pointers in 3 consecutive games. I think the numbers go. Which is, I mean, that's staggering numbers when you think about it, because what Jordan's game with the shrug. In that game, he hit 3 3-pointers in the first half, 4 3-pointers in the first half, I think 2 in the second half. And people, oh, he hit 6 3-pointers in the game. It was 1993, right? Oh, he hit 6 3-pointers in the game. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? How does he do this, right? He's shrugging going down the court. I thought that was the most disrespectful thing when he hit the 3-pointer, just shrugging at Marv Albert and Bob Costas. I thought that was the most disrespectful thing. But to where the game is now, Steph has the stat is he has 6 3-pointers in game 3, made at least 5 threes in 3 consecutive games, matching the longest streak in NBA Finals history, which is crazy, right? Um, that's uh, that's who we know Steph to be. But I mean, that was his, like you say, when he has to have it, he turns it on. Boston, Boston with their inconsistency. That's them. That's they being inconsistent all season. Though they showed the resiliency I spoke of in Game 3, with the going 7-0 after a loss, they show that their highs and ups and downs, their highs and lows, and what you see out of the young team. I would like to say right now, I may have said this before the series started. If I didn't, I don't think anything what I thought about either team has changed in this NBA playoffs, because I think the Celtics, while they beat the NBA champions to get here, they beat the Miami Heat to get here in Game 7, might I add, both teams in Game 7, which shows again that resiliency that they're able to play with. I think they're probably ahead of schedule, because although they've been in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals the last 3 of the last 4 years, I think they're ahead of schedule. So I'm not going to hold these losses too hard against them, if you understand what I'm saying. So let's talk a little bit about more into it. Um, as I say, I think the Celtics lost that opportunity when Curry went off. Sir, Curry goes off, but nobody else scored in that game. Jaylen Brown, if I remember correctly, wasn't too great in that game 4. Nobody else scored in that game. We know Tatum hasn't been terrific. He's been better for 3 than he has for 2. So I think they lost that opportunity when Curry went bananas, and then they played matchup in Game 5. I mean, which the teams you go in Game 5. What's the percentage of teams that win in Game 5? Do you know that percentage? I think that percentage is you win in Game 5. I think you got an 82% chance of winning, if I remember my research served me correctly. I think it's an 82% chance. I'm gonna go with that 82% chance. Um, it's an 81.3. Excuse me, right there, 81.3. Rounded up. Um, what's your thoughts? Talk to me about what your thoughts are. I have a lot. I can go on forever, Cleveland, about this NBA Finals. I think it's intriguing. A lot of people say it's been not an intriguing NBA Finals. I know it has the numbers show it hasn't been the most watched NBA Finals until Game 4, or excuse me, Game 5. 15 million people tuned in for Game 5. What's your thoughts on the NBA Finals? Give me something.
Well, Cam, I think that Game 1 is really what brought intrigue to this NBA Finals. I mean, I certainly felt like
As your guy Larry
the,
Joe Bird said, the series doesn't start till somebody wins on the visitor on the road, right?
for sure. And um, from my mindset, I thought that the Warriors were going to win in five. You know,
You had
six
five,
was
okay.
six was conservative just in case some things happened, but I didn't really expect it to jump off in game one. And so when they jumped off in game one, it made it a series just all, you know, all of a sudden right off the bat, and then followed it up by winning that game three, um, making it somewhat of a must win for Golden State in game four. But I always thought that the way that the Celtics won game one was just not replicatable. I thought that they were playing out of their minds. I thought that they were making shots they wouldn't ordinarily make,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
having to continue to battle the Dragons over and over and over again, eventually they would get into a situation where they were forced to make those shots that they're just, typically not capable of making, and that their game would regress back to the mean, and they would, show themselves as kind of, I don't want to say a
But
one
when you
trick
say,
pony, but
but when you
they'll
say
only
that,
go
so
as far as Jason Tatum can carry him, and he's quite tired and perhaps not 100% healthy.
you call them not healthy. Well, okay, so Cleveland, when you say that, you say they're going to regress to the mean. You would have to. I mean, if I rewind the tape, you'd have to say that we already knew Horford and White wasn't going to combine for 50 points like they did in game one, but we would have anticipated Tatum going for picking up half that slack, going for 25 or 30 in one of these games.
Well, no,
So
Tatum
yeah,
had the bad game that game one, so it was everyone else that
he
was
had
playing
what?
out of their skull. So I mean, Marcus Smart was hitting
That's what I'm
shots he
saying.
doesn't ordinarily hit.
Okay, okay.
Jalen Brown was doing far more than he's typically capable of doing
So do you
within
think they just gave up an opportunity? They lost the opportunity, or they lost the series in their game four when they let Steph go off for 35 or what 43? Excuse me.
No, I mean, we're not count. I mean, why are we counting them out? Everyone says that they were going seven, so all they have to do is win at home, and they go back to Golden State and then roll the dice, right?
You got confidence in them winning tomorrow night?
I
You got
do
some.
not. I think they're
Oh,
spent. I
oh,
think that I
oh.
think
Okay.
that Clay. I'm
So
sorry.
who's
I
everybody?
think that
Who's
Steph
everybody?
had his bad game, and I don't think he'll have two back to back. So
Right. So who's everybody saying that they're? I think this is over tomorrow night. Um, Again, I didn't budget. It wouldn't surprise me if Boston comes out and finally Tatum comes out and puts up 35 and Brown goes for 25 and they're just unbeatable. And then Marcus Smart start a few of those wild jumpers start falling. That wouldn't surprise me because they've done it in the past. I mean, they're 8-1 after a loss right now, or they're 7-1, excuse me, after a loss in these playoffs right now. So they've shown that resiliency, but I don't expect to see that. I'm not counting on that. I wouldn't bet on that. I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't put a rib dinner on that. Would you?
no, it should
Oh,
absolutely go
oh,
the other way, especially considering that the Warriors were able to survive and
I
come
thought you
out
were really.
victorious with the
I thought
bad
you were really
Steph
serious
Curry
about
game.
supporting these Celtics like that.
I mean,
Uh,
give me those 8.5 points, Cam. I'm all over
I'm
it.
not getting 8.5 points. These are NBA finals. What am I getting you points for? These are grown men. Get out of here. I thought you were young Sam.
Up to
You,
you.
you don't have the courage to make a legitimate bet. 8.5 points.
Hey, Cam.
Get
I
the
I,
hell
I
out of here.
see I see the
Yeah.
atmosphere, and bet accordingly.
So one of the questions I have is I had a few questions, and cool thing about it, and I'm fortunate enough to go to the NBA finals. I was at game one. Was that actually game? What was it? Game five? Was it game five? Yeah, game five the other night. Um, and just being able to talk to some of the Boston reporters and the other reporters, and kind of get their opinion from the guys who's been with the team and living with the team every day or every day, if you will. And they're a little like I feel that they're ahead of schedule. That's my personal feeling on the Celtics. But these guys are saying like, is they have the expectation that it's time to show and prove right now. Like these Celtics, they should be here. That we should be seeing more from them, and we're not. And am I missing something? I mean, Tatum's in his fifth year, fourth or fifth year. Brown in his fourth or fifth year. The thing I've noticed about Tatum is he does so much. If you remember correctly, Cleveland, I called him the smoothest guy in the game because his jumper is smooth. He gets to the hole nice and easy. But what I noticed in watching him in person is that he does so much avoiding the contact that throws off his shot when he's going to the hoop. It's like you're big enough. You should have that dominance dog in you to be dunking on fools. Since he dunked on LeBron, has he dunked on anybody else in the NBA? Can you remember a dunk that Tatum's done?
No, I don't think he has a signature dunk. Obviously, when you dunk on the king, that's a whole other level of game. But no, the Celtics are missing a piece. But what that piece is kind of a question mark because you would have to have an upgrade at either the defensive player of the year position or the Jaylen Brown position or a small forward, right?
I think they need the point guard. I think they should take the ball out of. This is my continuous philosophy: is that guys like Tatum and Brown should have somebody facilitating the ball to them, so that they can handle the ball. They've shown they can handle the ball, fast break situations. Obviously, they don't need to kick it out to somebody and wait for somebody to kick it into them down low. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when they're running the offense, they need the step up, the improvement from the Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, he's had a fantastic career, but he's peaking. There's not much higher he can go. You know what I'm saying? As an NBA point guard, he's grew into this role. He's nothing about his career. He's been one of my favorite players in the game. Nothing he's done hasn't been impressive. However, they need an upgrade at the point guard position. They need just to help Tatum and Smart get easier shots. That's what I fully believe. But let me ask you a question. Do you agree with that before I ask you my question?
Well, ordinarily I would say, yeah, Cam, except for it's a defensive player of the year, which brings a slightly different dynamic to that squad. I don't think that they get to the NBA finals without him. But at the same time, I don't think they win an NBA championship if he's their point guard. So they're kind of in a weird space. They would have to improve at the other positions. Um,
I mean, I personally would move him to shooting guard. Is what he came into the league as.
No. He can't shoot like that. He's already proven that. That's why he's a defensive player of the year. That's why he's found his niche. So
because he's playing
because he realized he couldn't really shoot like that, and he can't.
But I'm not going to ask him to shoot like that. I'm going to ask him to kind of do some of the same things that he does, but I'm not going to ask him to be my 20 point scorer. I got Tatum and Brown to do that, and neither one of them can do that from the 3 or the 4 spot. That's my opinion. So he can play in the backcourt with another point guard. Is what I'm saying to you. But in this series, I was looking for in the playoffs. I was looking for Tatum or Brown to separate themselves from one another. I think part of the problem is been for that Celtics team. I thought going into the season that neither one of them has separated themselves as the man on the squad, meaning they were always deferring to, at some point they're always going to defer to one another. Have you seen a separation from either one of them?
Yeah, I thought the separation had already occurred. I thought it was a foregone conclusion. Jason Tatum's the better player.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown is, certainly playoff worthy and brings, the ability to raise the level of his game when it counts. But no, you're going to win and lose by what Jason Tatum does, not by what Jaylen Brown does. Jaylen Brown will contribute.
You say he's a complimentary player, huh?
Yeah. In comparison.
Is that because Tatum wore the number 24 wristband on his elbow in Game 7? Is that why you think that?
No, it's because he's the best player on that team.
Yeah, because I know how sentimental you get. You see that number 8 or number 24 in that those golden golden steel or something. What was it called?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry that you probably forgot who that was, and I know how you have been, kind of, poo-pooing the whole, statue and all that, and you know, not really understanding what he brought to the, Los Angeles community, but that's okay.
Tatum sets a record 95 turnovers in the playoffs. Obviously, turnovers will kill him. Although I think the turnovers, Golden State is capitalizing on the turnovers, and Boston is not. The turnovers have been fairly equal. But that does set a record for the playoffs. So what's your thoughts on Tatum? Is he blowing it for us? Since you calling him the man on the team and saying the separation has already been there, is he blowing it for the Celtics?
Can't say he's blowing it for the Celtics. They're in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. No one ever predicted they would get this far. So,
but they just blew an opportunity to be
large part to the.
They blew their opportunity to go up to 3-1. They blew their opportunity to go up 3-1. Are you not putting that on the guy, or now you're going to tell me that the guy is not that important? Which one is it? Which one is it?
No, I'm not putting it on the guy. The guy's doing all he can do.
What do you think?
The guy is doing all he can do. He's brought his team to the brink of a championship. He's brought a team that was never supposed to be there within 2 games of winning a championship.
The guy is shooting under 30% in the fourth quarter. We're talking about he's doing all he can. What do you mean? How is that doing all he can?
It's his first time to the NBA Finals. He's finding his way.
So are you the guy or are you not the guy? Now you're fluttering around this guy thing.
Many times.
You said many guy. If you're the guy, you do that with your team. Now you're muffling. Said Tatum has separated himself as the guy on his team.
Correct.
But
he's going up against Dragons, and he's tired, and he doesn't have a lot more help.
So he's not
offensively.
What are you talking about? More help? You keep saying if you're the guy, it doesn't matter in basketball. That's what you tell me. That's the same garbage you try to tell me. So now why are you trying to bring up help? You're trying to bring up he's tired. He needs more help. That doesn't sound like he's a guy.
Not to win a championship, to get his team to the finals for sure.
Oh my goodness gracious.
He's got 2 more games to determine if he's that guy or not. Here it goes. I don't think so.
So he can still be that guy. He can still be that guy.
He could do a Jimmy Butler.
Is this what you're
go for 47 and 47 and
is that what it's going to take?
There's 2 games left.
Do you expect him to do that?
I don't.
He did it against the Heat.
I don't expect it. No. But it doesn't mean it won't happen. I wouldn't bet on it. I'm young Sam Rothstein, so what's that say? It's highly unlikely, but
young Sam
it's possible.
Is a flip-flopper. That's what I say. Young Sam is a flip-flopper. I mean, I'm still confused about this guy thing. Is he the guy or not the guy? Now you're talking about he got here.
He absolutely is one of those guys that can bring your
one
team
of those
to
guys.
the NBA Finals.
Is he the guy or not the guy? That's there's not one of those guys. Is he that guy or not the guy? And now you're flip flopping. You can't define. You can't define if he's a guy or not. You don't want to.
At this point, I would have to say no. At this point, I would have to say no.
That's what the people want to hear.
But he has 2 games to prove me wrong. So you can't.
He hasn't proven the guy.
He
hasn't proven he's a guy. That's how you say he hasn't proven it. I haven't seen it right now. And then when you say he's doing all he can do at 29%, I mean, I don't know what game you're watching. What's 29%?
It's his first time into the finals.
And what did I say?
He's tired.
What?
These things take time.
Okay. Last season, who's in the finals last season? Who played in the finals? I hate to jog your memory.
Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, so the Phoenix Suns I know haven't been in the finals in a while. This wasn't your uncle's Phoenix Suns, Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson. This wasn't those guys.
Okay.
That was Devin Booker. How many times has Devin Booker been to the finals?
That was his first appearance.
Oh, but he put up 40 twice.
Okay.
What did that tell you about him versus somebody who's shooting 29% in the fourth quarter and not quite making the cut there? There's a difference, right?
No, that sounds like a really weird comparison.
What's a
NBA
weird
Finals
comparison?
losses.
What's a
Someone,
weird comparison?
I mean,
Somebody showing up.
Allen
Somebody
Iverson
performing in their first.
went to the NBA Finals and scored 47. They didn't win another game.
Did he do it again? Though, is what I'm saying. Did he do it again? Booker showed up twice. You're saying he's a young. It's his first finals. He's young. Blah blah whoopty whoop. Whoopty whoop. I mean, come on. I had them winning. I had the Celtics anyway. I had the Celtics winning 2 games. I had the Warriors in 6. We're right here to see if they can finish out in 6. Like I'm saying, I hope they finish it out in 6 because I did not budget for Game 7. So fans, if you want to send me to Game 7, hit the Cash App or the $ Voice of the Fans, $ Voice of the Fans to help me get to Game 7. Should there be a Game 7? What do you think? Why do you think? Why do you think Jordan Poole's his shots are so inspiring for the Warriors? Like obviously that his bucket at the end of the third quarter sent them on a 10-0 run, but it really boosted obviously, that buzzer beater boost the crowd up because you got the TV timeout and you got 3 minutes just for pandemonium to go on in the arena. So that's we know that build up, and then they come into the fourth. The Warriors just could maintain it and erase. For the first time in the series, the Celtics had actually won the third quarter. The third quarter had been the Warriors' quarter where they do the separation from their opponent. But in that game, the Celtics won that third quarter. That buzzer beater brought the Warriors back and gave them a 1-point lead going into the fourth. But why do you think, outside of that shot, I understand the reasoning for that particular shot, but Jordan Poole, he didn't have a good game in Game 1, they lose. He plays good in Game 2, they win. Game 3, Game 4, the same story. He played better in Game 4, but Game 4 was more about Steph. Why do you think Jordan Poole is so inspiring to that team? I don't know any other way to put the impact. He has a great impact, obviously, but the shots seem to be so inspiring. Why is that the case?
Oh well, Cam, it's the half dragon theory. Teams are already kind of geared up towards you have to stop. You have to can only hope to contain him.
Yeah.
And Steph Curry, Clay, if he goes crazy, oh man, we're in a world of trouble. But they never really account for another half dragon. So when the other half dragon comes in, it's like, oh man, that's just a little too much. It's a little too much coverage. Not if 3 of you guys are out here just bombing from 25 feet out. Your defense is just too stretched out. Even the Udoka defense, hard, physical, in your face, they don't have enough.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, fans, but we got a 3-3 tie in the third period with under 5 minutes to go. I know it's been tied for the last 5 minutes. But we got in the Game 1 of the National Hockey League, right? What you got on the National Hockey League? Who you got winning this?
Oh, wow. You went Stanley Cup on us? Wow.
Who you got winning this?
Well, fans, it's actually the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche.
What did I say?
That's Cam never did really say the teams that were playing because he didn't really actually know. He just saw the 3 and the 3 in the corner. And so it was like, wow, this game is close all of a sudden. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh, will you? Wow,
Yeah.
why? Just why? Because they're the back-to-back champs. That's the only reason.
This is their third Stanley Cup final in a row, and yes, I do think they're the better team.
He could name 2 players on the team, fans. He could name 2 players. NBA Finals MVP. Can Wiggins pull this out over Steph? Is it possible? He was over. He shot 0 for 9 in one game.
How was that one game?
16 points.
That was that one game out of 6. Yeah.
There's no way Wiggins.
Wiggins has been awful until that one little period where he was kind of okay.
He's been awful. He said.
Awful. He's looked out of sorts to me. He's kind of really been the reason the series has been close, because when he gets the shots, he hasn't been hitting them until just very recently. So
in Game 5, in this last
in Game 5, yeah, that's very recently. That was the last game they played. Yeah,
he was awful in that game. He was awful in that game. Or?
I'm sorry.
I mean, he was. That was the second. That was the second consecutive game with double digit rebounds. He led the team in rebounds both games. On the other night, on Monday night,
did he lead the team in most recovered loose balls as well? Did he lead the team in fastest time from the free throw line to the other free throw line? I mean,
those are hustle points, though.
Sure.
I mean, are they tracking that?
Okay.
Huh? Are they tracking that somewhere?
I mean that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of stats you're throwing up at me. I mean, like,
no, I'm throwing in rebounds are hustle stats. In the play, get the ball. You need the ball to score, don't you? Rebounds get you the ball. So now you telling me that rebounds aren't critical?
No, I'm just saying you're trying to make it like this super hypercritical stat or category that it's really not in an NBA Finals game. It's great that he was able to do that, and probably contributed to some second chance points, if you will. But yeah, man, he's an NBA All-Star, so I expect just a little bit more than just your points after rebound stats or whatever.
So let me ask you a question. Trivia, quick NBA trivia for you. Golden State, Wiggins records 17 points and 16 rebounds. The first Warrior to reach these numbers since 1967. Who did this back in 1967?
I'm gonna go with Nate Thurman.
That was a great guess right there. Great guess. And he did it in Game 5 of the finals against who?
1967 would have been Celtics.
Sixers.
Sixers.
I mean, so he's so now you would still poo-poo what he's doing, the performance he's had. And that was in Game 4. That was before his Game 5 performance. So you still want to poo-poo what Wiggins is doing out here on the court?
Yeah, man. Yeah, not NBA Finals worthy, MVP, if you will.
So not MVP worthy. Okay, that's fair. So, but is that more so the story? That's the story going into it that Steph hasn't won an MVP and he needs one, or is that when you're actually looking at the game and being objective? Which one is it?
Oh, no. I mean, Steph has already had like 3 signature games. I mean, Wiggins had that one 17-16. That's cool, man. Yeah, but he's been kind of
again. That was game 4.
He's been looking like a little bit. He's been, in my opinion, he's been having that look like the deer in the headlights. To me, like the game was a little.
I just pointed out to you that he's doing stuff that hasn't been done in 50 years. And you say that was one game
for the Golden State Warriors,
the 3-time champion.
You didn't mention the other 97 teams that had played for the finals.
The 3-time champions, Golden State Warriors. Yeah, those guys. Yeah, those guys. Who's about to win their 4th championship in 5 years? Yeah, those guys. Yeah, that team. What is Cleveland talking about, fans?
What are you talking about? I mean, you're on some tangent that makes no sense. 17 and 16 is not all that hype, man. I'm so sorry.
It's historic numbers
for the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs.
And
so goddamn fucking what? I mean, it's like you're talking about like this thing. I don't understand. It's 67.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It hasn't been done since 67. And you trying to poo-poo his performance. That's
One
all.
team hasn't done this in
You're trying to
55 years,
you're
and
trying to
you're
you're
making it seem like
poo-pooing.
it's this big thing.
No.
It makes
What
no
I'm
sense to me.
No, what I'm telling you is you're poo-pooing the performance of Andrew Wiggins, saying it was just one game. And I just pointed out that he had back-to-back good games in these NBA Finals that's making a difference and helping them win. That's what I'm pointing out to you.
It's
The
making
back-to-back
a
win
difference in
in,
helping them win.
in
Does it
back-to-back,
make him the
right.
most valuable player of the
Well, that
NBA
was the
Finals?
question.
Not even close.
Okay, that's fair. But you're totally poo-pooing what he's doing, saying he hasn't done anything. Like he's an all-star. I expect something from him. And I'm telling you, he's setting records for a team that is on the verge of winning their fourth championship in 5 years. And I don't understand where the poo-poo is coming from. That's all I'm saying, fans. That's fans at Cleveland is. I know he's getting sensitive over there. I don't know for some reason. I mean, so this is gonna be a funny question. How'd you feel hearing your guy say he hasn't shot a ball since April? How do you feel about that? Are you gonna be that's let's see how sensitive he is about this topic.
It's horrible to hear, man.
That's it.
I mean, that's as far as I'm going to go. Yeah, here in public. Yeah, on the show. Yeah, it's horrible to hear.
Konnichi. Oh, here in public. Konnichiwa.
What's that mean? Konnichiwa.
Wait, hold on, wait. This what you said. This is this is all you're gonna say in public. wait. So fast. What's that mean? He's going in the bathroom and him and Coco. He's cussing Coco out because of what his team is doing. That's funny. He's all he wants to say in public. That's hysterical. Fans, it's holding back. Why can't the fans get the truth? This is the voice of the fans. When we tell the truth, we let the people know what's up. And you're going to now telling me you don't want to talk in public about your squad? That's what I'm hearing.
Cam, I answered your question. What did I say?
Shame on you. Cleveland, you should be ashamed of yourself. He tried to derail my show and throw some Mika Patrick up at me. But he doesn't want to talk about Anthony Davis in public. And why is this? Why can't we know the truth about what you feel about Anthony Davis? Why don't you want to share that with us? Why don't you want to share that with the people? Let the people know. I'm interested to know.
As I said, I'm so disappointed to hear that he has not shot a basketball in 2.5 months.
Well, so you won't hear this very often, so listen close. Hit the record button, fans. To his point, shooting the ball is not his specific issue. That's not an issue that he has. So if I say that, what part of his game do I want to improve? I'm not going. Shooting is not the first thing I'm going to. So it doesn't bother me in that sense. It sounds worse than it actually is. But he needs a nutritionist, a workout plan. He need to hook up with Deshaun Watson and get a masseuse. Well, maybe not Deshaun Watson. Maybe we're gonna hit that. Maybe he just needs an actual masseuse. I don't know what the deal is, but he needs to get his muscle and his bones right. So shooting is not the worst of his issues. So if he said I've done nothing different in my workout plan, that's a concern for me personally. But Cleveland says he don't want to say anything about he don't want to say anything about Anthony Davis in person. I'm clipping that, buddy. You're gonna hear that again. You're gonna hear that again. Biggest takeaways, man, from the finals? Anything we haven't touched on that you want to get to?
Biggest takeaway from the finals, I would have to say, I have not been impressed with what Draymond has been bringing on the offensive end. So to really still kind of be in this is a testament to Steph. I wasn't really expecting him to be the focal point of it. I thought that he would be, an integral part, but I shouldn't expect him to be, the end all be all. I thought that the Boston Celtics would have a strategy wherein I don't want to say neutralize, but wouldn't be able to just completely dictate whether they win or lose. So I've been a little bit surprised with the contribution of the other Warriors, most notably Draymond. So I think the Celtics have been giving it all they can. I think Williams has been playing out of his mind as far as what they've been asking him to do.
He's been super, yes.
And was certainly not expecting that type of contribution from him. So I would say that Draymond and Eric Williams has been the biggest surprises on both ends of the spectrum.
Williams, you talking about from the Celtics?
No, as far as being impressed with what Williams has been able to contribute and being disappointed in what Draymond has not been able to bring to the table.
So I got some NBA trivia. If you haven't noticed, and I'm trying to mix into the show here. And you point out Draymond Green, and I know you're not a stats guy, but some of these numbers are worth mentioning. You tell me if they're worth mentioning. Well, excuse me, I don't have to listen to you. I know they're worth mentioning when you have certain. Draymond Green becomes the 5th player, Cleveland, in NBA playoff history. Listen to the question now. He becomes the 5th player to record at least 200 blocks and 200 steals in his playoff career. So there's 4 other guys who do this, Cleveland. Name the 4. 200 blocks, 200 steals.
LeBron, Mike, Kobe, Hakeem.
You said LeBron. Ding, 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 ding. You said Mike, right? That's what you said? Mike who?
Michael Jordan.
Oh. Wrong. And
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, and that's 2 strikes.
Hakeem.
Ding, 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 ding. So you named 2 out of 4. There's 2 more players out there.
200 blocks and 200 rebounds?
200 blocks, 200 steals. 200 blocks,
200 steals.
Yeah. Fans, you guys can take this to the water cooler tomorrow. There are 5 players with 200 blocks, 200 steals. Draymond Green just became the 5th player to do this in Game 3. LeBron is the other player to do this. Hakeem is the other guy to do this. Let's see if Cleveland can guess who has 200 steals and 200 blocks. Kareem Abdul is not the guy, and that's the 3rd buzzer. You want another pick, or you want a hint, or you want to try again?
Dennis Rodman.
Wrong again. The final 2 guys to do this, you may have heard. I know you heard of both of you guys, but a guy who probably was before your time, you probably didn't see much of him, is a guy named Julius the Dr. Irv.
Wow. Would not have thought that, but okay.
And I could probably sit here for the next 90 minutes and let you spit out names of who this last guy might be. But all I have to say is 7 championships.
Oh, Bob Horry.
That's correct. 200 blocks, 200 steals. That's impressive. So I know you're not a stat guy, but that's a pretty impressive category. Irving, Ori, Braun, and Olajuwon. 3 of these 5 guys are in the Hall of Fame. Some people question why Ori's not in the Hall of Fame. This is almost signifies Draymond Green going to be in the Hall of Fame if they were to win the championship, right?
Oh, it was a foregone conclusion if they won this one. You've seen some of the people in the Hall of Fame, right?
Well, yeah, it is an NBA Hall of Fame.
to the NBA Hall of Fame. So
Only 3 players now have scored at least 40 points at the age of 35 or 34 or older. Name the 3 players.
LeBron, Mike, and Steph.
LeBron, Mike, and Steph. I didn't even get no chance to throw a little dig out there. You're correct. LeBron, Mike, and Steph. Although those are some nuggets from Game 3. Here's some nuggets from Game 4. Draymond Green. Draymond Green is now 7th in assists in NBA Finals history. Who was in 8th place? Who did he pass? He was not 7th. He passed 2 players. So he's in 6th place because he passed one guy for 8th, one guy for 7th. Teammates of a couple guys you may have heard of. Fans, you guys can answer this question. Brad, I don't know what you're saying.
He passed Derek Fisher and Tony Parker.
I said teammates. I gave you a hint. He passed teammates.
Passed teammates.
Derek Fisher and Tony Parker? Where they playing?
Oh, wait. Sorry. I thought you meant teammates of the people I was thinking of. So he passed teammates. So he passed 7, 8 assists.
NBA in career NBA Finals assists. I like this one. This one got him stumped. Fans, here's a question.
He passed.
I'll make it easier for you guys.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Sorry.
The question is, Draymond moved up 2 spots on the NBA career assist list for NBA Finals. NBA Finals. That's a very important. NBA Finals career assist list. Draymond Green moved to 6 spots. He passed 8th. He passed 7th. He's at 6. Who did he pass? He passed teammates. It wasn't LeBron and it wasn't Dwayne. Was that guess number 2, 1 or 2?
That was guess number 1. That's guess number 1. That's guess number 1. Okay.
Man, any way I can get a rib dinner out of this?
He passed Magic and Kareem.
On the assist list? And wrong. That's number 2. So you just want to forfeit number 3 and say I win? That's a steak dinner, rib tip, or you're gonna hold the fans up because you don't know NBA history. Which one? Which are you gonna do here?
Assist.
Look, he's not even listening to me. Do you want you want to forfeit? You can forfeit anytime. Or you want to come back to this? Do you want to go home and do some homework? Come back to this one?
It's Kobe and Fish.
Kobe and Fish. And that's not incorrect. I mean, you noticed the theme earlier. You jumped on the theme earlier. That guy has to be somewhere involved in the question, in the answer to some of these questions. That guy has to be involved. Draymond Green passes Scotty for 8th place and MJ for 7th place.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
What?
Really?
What? He has 211 assists as of game 4. I said teammates, right?
You did. I didn't think Pip was that involved, that intricate in the offense for
What do
those
you mean? He
6.
ran
Okay.
the offense ran through him a lot of the time.
Not the most in the in NBA Finals history, but okay. All right.
But then they were there. I mean, you got to think they were there 6 years, right?
6 times. That's why I was going with the big numbers.
Yeah. All right. I got more trivia. You want more trivia now or later?
Now hit me with this last one. I gotta leave on a winning note. Come on, man.
I mean, I got more. So, let me see. You may have heard this one. You may have heard it. I'm sure they talked about this on the broadcast. That's a thing about being in the arena is you miss a lot of the talk and the tidbits that the broadcasters do through every game. There's 3 or 4 really good nuggets that they throw out, and you miss some of those, or you miss all of them basically because I don't get to hear the broadcast. We're watching the game, looking at different things. Okay. In game 5, this is game 5, the Celtics I don't know if I mentioned this, but I gotta mention this. I'm sorry. This is not trivia related, but the Celtics again. The Celtics show their brilliance, man, in the playoffs, and they show their inexperience in the same series. If you notice it, Cleveland, they become the first team to miss 12 3-pointers in their first 3-pointers. They miss them all. Miss their first 12 3-pointers, right? Then they come back and make 8 straight. Like, that's wild. Like, the inconsistencies, right, is just so that's wild. So to make 8 straight, and that sets the finals record. They broke they broke their own finals record, which was how many in game 1? Do you know?
How many 3-pointers made or missed?
Consecutive 3-pointers made in game 1.
Wasn't it like 11?
No, they made 7 consecutive 3-pointers. I'm just not total. 7 consecutive 3-pointers in game 1. They broke that record in game 5 with not in game 5, in game 3 with 8 straight, but after missing 12 straight. So it was just a wild swing, right? Wild swing. You miss so many, then you make so many. It's just the inexperience, I think, and the inconsistency of the team that pointed out. So now that was the one question that came to my mind when I was thinking about this next question for you. When I came across this next question for you, let me find it. So the first 3-pointer of the game gave him 307 3-pointers, right, in the 2022 playoffs. They established a new record. Who set the record before? Who set that previous record?
For most 3-pointers in a NBA playoff?
The Celtics' first 3-pointer of the game gave them 307 threes for the 2022 NBA playoffs. That establishes a new record for a single postseason. The previous record was 306, set by who?
Don't say worse.
In 2016. Exactly right. So this is the stat. Final question, bonus question here for you. We know Steph did not make a 3-pointer the other night, right? He was 0 for 9, right? Well publicized, correct?
Correct.
He had a streak. How long was the streak of consecutive playoff games with at least one 3-pointer made? consecutive playoff games.
The exact number.
I'm sure they said it at some point during the show. I'm sure because if I ask you the other number, how many games he went without making a three, you know that number, right?
How many games did he?
It was buzzing around the arena. It was weird how like just how tidbits just floated. One person says it, then another person says it, and it's like, oh wow, really? Really? And then somebody else.
This
Somebody
in the NBA in the NBA finals or in the playoffs?
Oh, there's the goal. The Avalanche win game 1. The question is,
the Avalanche won. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, Avalanche pulled it out 4-3 in OT. It went to OT. So Steph Curry did not make a 3-pointer in game 5. He ended his NBA record streak of how many consecutive playoff games without at least one 3-pointer.
Playoff games.
Yes.
113.
That's close. That's close. It's 132.
Oh wow.
But do you know that's playoff? So that's playoff games. Do you know how many consecutive games it's been since he's not made a 3-pointer?
I believe that was like 800 and something.
No, it was 230. 233. Yeah. Like that's a number is just we sat down in the
that's like 3 seasons.
Yeah, I think it was 2016. It was
close to.
Yeah, it was
short of 3 seasons.
It was a while ago. But we sat down in the media room and it was just like that went around like it spread like boom. Well, it was 200. It was 233 games. Somebody had it, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, but it's been 132 games since a playoff game." Yada yada. So the NBA playoffs was fantastic. Going, like I say, fans, I didn't budget for game 2 or game 7. Excuse me. So if you want to send me to game 7, fans, I need your help. Hit me up. $ Voice of the Fans. $ Voice of the Fans. That's a cash app. Accepting all donations. I need a flight and hotel rooms for San Francisco because it's not cheap, Cleveland. I don't know if you. It might be cheap. It might be cheaper in New York.
Hold up, Cam.
It might be cheaper in New York.
Hold up, Cam. Oh, I just got the text from Steph. He said that won't be necessary.
Oh, is that it? Okay. All right. Cool. I didn't budget. To let him know I didn't budget for it. Let him know I didn't budget for it. So, last thing on the NBA, man. One of my guys, NBA, you got kind of develop a relationship with some players and you cover them, man. Back in the days, we had locker room access. One of the guys who we frequently talk to covering the Clippers is Mr. Montrezl Harrell. You know, you guys had Montrezl for a spell. Montrezl was in Kentucky. You know, and we the streets think Montrezl was just, you know, stocking up for the summer. You know, the courts are going to try to throw something at him like he was, packing and ready to distribute. I mean, come on, man. Montrezl is 6'8", 275. You know, he's probably cheap a little bit more than average dude. And again, he's a personal stash, man. The guy got millions of dollars. You know, that's like you know, you don't buy 1 tube of toothpaste, do you go? I mean, when you go buy toothpaste, do you get the twin pack or do you just buy the 1 tube? Which one do you do, Cleveland? I mean, every time I go get the twin pack. I don't know about you. Toothpaste, I make sure I have it because I'm gonna need it, right? You're gonna need the toothpaste, right?
Just get the tube, man. I mean, yeah, it's 2 at a time, typically, man. Yeah.
So Harold, you know, he just stocks up. It's like going to Costco, man. Sometimes you buy more mayonnaise than you really need, right? Or you get the big. You ever buy the big dozen of it's a double dozen. It's not 1 dozen. I think it's 2 dozens of the banana crunch muffins. You ever buy that at Costco? You know you don't. It's $5.99. You know you don't need 2 dozen banana nut muffins, right? You know you don't need them, but you buy them. Okay, you eat a couple of them. In a couple of days, you're stale. You mad, right? He just stocked up, right? He just stocked up. He's gonna put it in the refrigerator, bust it down, however he's gonna do it. But I think Nate Newton's laughing at Montrez. Do you? What do you think about that? Do you remember what Nate was riding around with?
No, this is not a Nate Newton situation. Nate Newton actually got caught with hundreds of pounds, and then 2 weeks later got caught with hundreds of pounds again. So that was that was slightly different. I like your spin on it. I like your spin on it. Yeah, it's gonna be a long summer. He's got lots of friends. I mean, he's he's the richest cat. Thousands of people know. He's always supposed to be the life of the party.
The flying the party, yeah, man.
The person that brings the libations. That's great. I've always erred on the side of caution, which is if you make that much money, well, then you just send that guy to go and pick that up and bring it back.
I mean, he's driving a minivan. No, dude was giving him a good price.
Okay. And that's when you say, my cousin Terrence, he'll be wearing a green shirt with a yellow baseball hat on. He's going to hand you this bag. You hand him that bag, and that'll be the end of that. Because otherwise, you're talking about it on this show, right? Otherwise, it would just be if something happened. Oh man,
he went to go get it himself.
Terrence, what are you doing out here? It wouldn't be Montrezl Harrell, NBA champion, about to make $10 million. What are you doing out here? We wouldn't be talking about it.
All right, man. Last thing on the NBA Finals, we said going into the finals, the unsung heroes will be Al Horford and Jordan Poole. Do you think has that held true? I think Jordan Poole has had the better series between the two, and therefore his team is winning. Would you agree with that?
No, unsung heroes have been Williams and it's been Williams and Wiggins.
Okay. Oh, now you want to give Wiggins some credit.
As far as unsung hero, sure. As far as finals MVP, no, he won't get that.
Okay, man. So I think that was a good NBA segment, man. When we come back, let's take a little quick break. We come back, we got some NBA top or NFL topic, excuse me. You ready to press on through? You want to take a minute?
Let me get a quick second. Get on these more NFL topics. Thought we covered that already, but you got some more to talk about. We'll be right back. Right back.
What's good, fans? What's good? What's good? What's up in the chat, fans? Where you guys at? Hit me up in the chat. Talk to me while this guy's taking his potty break. Brad Johnson, what are you doing? Are you playing on the phone, man? You got your mom's phone? What you doing? MBLC3Y, Curry the best player in the playoffs right now. Nothing more needs to be said. Is he the MVP? Wiggins can't win it over him? No, you said not even close. Yeah, I know he's better than Wiggins, but Wiggins is playing pretty good, no? Is he not playing good? Tell me if Wiggins not playing good. What's good? What's good? What's good, Mo? Where you from, Mo? Let me know. If you tuning in, let me know where you tuning in from. How you listening and where you tuning in from? Where you tuning in from? Put it in the comments. I'm here in Los Angeles, Cleveland, Seattle, Washington, Sorry for the sounds. We got a lot of activity. We got police helicopter flying around. We heard the sirens earlier. A little wild downtown LA. It's summertime. Um, but Tam, let me if you guys tuning in, let me know where you're from. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and participating in the chat. But let me know where you're listening from, how you tuning in. We got a bunch of people already tuning in. Hit that subscribe button too. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Be a part of the show because we got a lot of things going on. And then you guys can also comment on some of. Again, here's the information. If you want to donate, make sure you donate to the show. Give me the San Francisco, just in case Steph is not giving Cleveland correct information. Um, Cleveland, let's get into this NFL comments, man.
Okay.
Yeah, NFL, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, we asked, I think last week, is he going to return or retire? And I guess if you get 31 mil per, I guess I'm going to be coming back too, right? 65 million guaranteed. I think that's the highest ever for a defensive player, right?
Running back, he's well deserved.
And so kudos to the Rams for getting that done. I mean, Seattle's gonna see him twice a year. I mean, I know you like seeing what he can do, right?
No, not really.
It gets you so excited when you think of what Aaron Donald's going to bring.
Not really. Nightmares. Oh. Nightmares of seeing the 99.
Cleveland, man. Cleveland. I kind of ashamed to broach this topic, man. You go back, check the tapes 2 seasons ago. What I told my team, my Miami Dolphins to go do, make that move, pull the trigger, go get this guy who's on it. Go get him. He's waiting. He's waiting. We need a quarterback. Go get him. Last season, some other stuff was uncovered about this particular player's off the fields, let me say, strategic medical practices, little questionable medical practices that he's having. I initially wanted to poo-poo it, man, not as because what I heard, like I said, Cleveland, I said months ago, man, it was more icky than anything else. It's like, he's gonna have to pay a stupid tax. Deshaun Watson, I'm talking about, for reaching out to these women with the guise of him needing a massage, with obviously other stuff is on his mind. And Deshaun, bro. Being a NCAA champion, coming out of high school as one of the highly recruited football players in America, I know it didn't require you to say much to the women when you walked into the bar in South Carolina. It didn't require you much to say to bring them over to your table. I'm guessing. It's even easier now for you, Deshaun, or it was at least a couple years ago. Like, I don't understand why you had to resort to this type of thing. If you want to sleep with, you could have told him that's my only purpose. Here's some dough. You should have paid him off. You should have paid him off, and that was your stupid tax to begin with. Now you're looking at, man, not even more women coming to the table, Cleveland. I think this whole situation, I'm admitting that I was a little insensitive to the situation initially. The situation just becoming, I think it's causing irreparable damage to Deshaun Watson, to the Cleveland Browns, to the NFL. I don't think it's a good look. I think the NFL needs to decide something, or the courts need to decide something. When you get a license, when you get a ticket, you can push for the 30-day. You have your chance. Do you want a 30-day trial, or do you want to push it back after 30 days? Right? If I remember correctly, I ain't got to take it in a while, but I remember having the opportunity. Do you want the speedy trial? Hurry up and get it done with? he should ask for the speedy trial. Get this done with so I can get back on the court and get my career done. Yet he's dangling around, dicking around. I mean, to speak on it, it's even worse when he talks about it. He says he never assaulted, disrespected, or harassed anyone. Well, Deshaun Watson, they're suing you for disrespecting and harassing the women. That's exactly what they're suing you for. If you say you never assaulted someone, okay, I can live with that because we haven't seen any pictures of neck bruises or hands around the neck or anything. But Cleveland, I'm about over this, man. I'm about over this, man. And I, as you know, was the most lenient over the last 18 months of anybody who could possibly been. What's your thoughts on this situation, man? Now that there's even more, has your thoughts changed on this situation now that there's even more accusers? What you think of the end? Is it the court system dragging their feet, the NFL dragging their feet, kind of leaving this thing in limbo? I mean, the Cleveland Browns. I don't know how you guys signed this guy, and I hope you have the right outs. I hope you guys are smart enough to have the right outs. Should there be another incident? What's your thoughts on the situation, Cleveland?
Well, Cam, I don't know quite what you were expecting from all of this, and I know for a lot of people, yourself included, out there, without audio or video footage of the actual, transgressions, it's all just hearsay and conjecture.
Well, I don't necessarily want to go there.
And her word
I don't necessarily want to go there and say I don't believe
77 against his. I mean, So, that's fine. Again, I am one of those people that will give you the benefit of the doubt, and wrongfully so, until you get around 25 or so. And then that's just too many people to have like such a similar story that ends so similarly to all be lying. And then when you start getting into like the 60s and 70s, it's like, well, yeah, this is a frightening trend. And when the NFL says that they did their due diligence, what does that really mean? That means they did their due diligence, and this is what I think, and this is what a lot of people, and the hypocrisy of the NFL and what it is, they did their due diligence to the extent that they didn't think that legally they had enough of a leg to stand on after all of these other cases were acquitted, not knowing all of the other cases that could potentially come out. Nor did they have the desire to go researching and find out if this was even a possibility. And so Cleveland did the same thing. Like, okay, well, he's been acquitted, all this stuff. They can't come and trial all that. That's what's been hanging this up for 2 years. And then it just became very, in your face, very arrogant. Like, wow, we just said this dude did all of these things. It's 25 of us or however many. And here you go, rewarding him with $250 million guaranteed, dollars. Like, right. It doesn't, like, what does that mean? And so, of course, it's got to invoke some emotion in some of the other people that were perhaps on the fence prior to kind of seeing the way this whole thing unfolded and, gain some courage from potentially being the difference in how this whole thing played out. But the NFL, I mean, they just want to make sure that it can't come back on them. And once it can come back on them that they're bad guys, you're done.
Do we see him play this year?
It's far too soon to say. I mean, the
courts
doing their best to try and figure out if this can be a legal issue that takes place, but as there won't
be no legal ruling until after next season. After this,
season. So he plays the season. They don't know enough.
Well, I mean,
they may give the I don't want to say complimentary. I mean, they may give the 2-game suspension or the maybe even the 4-game suspension. I seriously doubt I get to 6 games.
But
Somebody's
yeah,
paying
but
this. Somebody's paying this guy,
but
$40 million a year.
but
So
if it hasn't been acknowledged that there's an issue. I mean, is it detrimental? What is it? Detrimental to the league? Behavior
absolutely,
detrimental
it
to the league.
is. And
Okay,
they're taking that risk, but they'll apply that on the back end.
Okay. Cleveland, have you heard about this? Bruce Smith campaigning against Tony Baselli to make the Hall of Fame. What's your thoughts on this? I'll tell you my thoughts. What's your thoughts on Bruce Smith just going all out against Tony Baselli? What's your thoughts?
I was a little disappointed, man. Bruce Smith is not a millennial. I don't understand why he was getting so sensitive about him kind of giving. I thought it was a compliment. I mean, man, I stonewalled Bruce Smith.
Right.
I don't think
but he was saying no.
On that
nobody said
as if this is why I
no
should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he ever said that.
Right. Bruce Smith didn't like the way they used his name, although he didn't read. He just said his name and Tony Baselli. He's like, no, you can't use me to get into the Hall of Fame, dude. I'm in here. But to Bruce Smith's point, I think the players should have more vote of who's in the Hall of Fame than it be up to some writers. The players know who the best players were. What's your thoughts on that?
It's an interesting perspective. I think you have to have kind of a governing body of that, and a very, I don't know. I can't say as their criteria would be any different from a writer's perspective, and probably even more so in certain instances. But that's an interesting.
I mean, I think the NFL is the one league that actually, there's still some gravitas to go into the. I mean, any league you go to the Hall of Fame you're well respected, obviously. But I think the NFL, because it's not as easily to get into the NFL, although this last 20-year entry, I didn't agree with that. But, she's speaking of the Hall of Fame. She's Zach Thomas being in the Hall of Fame.
Close.
What does that mean?
If it were up to me, he just barely misses it. But I've seen,
when he was a dominant player. The problem is they didn't win during his era. Like they didn't. He was dominant. They had the best defense. They had top defenses because of him, but they just didn't win in his era. I mean, he had no quarterback on the other side of the ball. He had no running game oftentimes. So his best years, early 2000s, mid 2000s, he didn't have. They just didn't win, right? When he
Fringe
was
Hall of Fame player. I mean, maybe a shade below Urlacher, and he's in there. So.
What are your thoughts on Tyreek saying Tua is more accurate than Mahomes?
Oh man, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, he got paid. What did he got a contract? 100.
So you think he was just saying it just to hype the quarterback up?
Absolutely, to keep the guy. He can't come in here and say the quarterback stinks.
Well, I mean, he's caught passes from both quarterbacks, so I mean, he's an expert. He's caught passes from both quarterbacks, so he's an expert on that.
I'll go to him in week 6 and see if I get the same response. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, well,
it probably won't even take week 6, but in week 4, I want to hear what he had to say in comparison.
Right now, he's saying Tua Tagovailoa is a more accurate passer.
Right now, they're playing in shorts, Cleveland. Right now, they're running routes against air.
Okay, well, man, a man's not entitled to his opinion.
I might be able to kick.
A man is not entitled to his opinion. That's caught passes from both quarterbacks.
Absolutely, he's entitled to his opinion. I like to hear his opinion.
I don't remember Patrick Mahomes winning a national championship in college.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear you try to compare Tua Tagovailoa to Patrick Mahomes.
Tyreek Hill did that.
No, I didn't. I just heard you do that. I just heard you do that. I don't I didn't think he won any national championships in college. Of course, he didn't win no national championships in college. He didn't play for the team with the best talent that money can buy. Of course he didn't play.
There was some accuracy from that left hand. I'm just saying.
The hand that he broke, the hand that was broken for 3 weeks.
Hey.
Is that what you're saying?
I don't believe Tyreek went into the fragility of the two quarterbacks, just who throws a more accurate football. And having caught passes from both quarterbacks, he said Tua Tagovailoa. Got to take him at his word.
Cleveland, he just got paid $120 million. I'm not taking it.
Okay, so what? With $120 million comes with, you got to say the quarterback's more accurate than the other quarterback you just left?
No, it comes with you got to keep this guy happy, because if you want the ball, you got to keep that guy happy. Playing, so the game. So let's slide over to the bird's nest or the hawk alley. I mean, are you guys just gonna let the Panthers outbid you for Baker? Is that what you guys are doing? I know you guys like to make the players wait on hold and don't sign them, wait till the last minute to try to sign some players. You don't want to give any players no love. You don't want to let players think they're in comfortable surroundings up there in the Northwest. But are you gonna let the Panthers outbid you for Baker Mayfield?
I don't make those decisions, and right now, everything is kind of in flux, and we'll have to see what happens.
I mean, what's the word with you? You haven't talked to Pete? Who's the new?
No words. As of right now, Geno's number one, and Drew Lock's backup. That's all we know.
So you're happy with Geno? You rather go in the season?
I've never said that.
I mean, it sound like you.
Why would I be happy with Geno Smith as a starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks? No.
I mean, sound like you're content because Geno he's 500 last year.
No, I said the Seahawks organization is content with that.
What do you feel about Rashad Penny? Is he finally going to get his opportunity to be the bell cow back?
I mean, he'll get some run, but Kenneth Walker III's there as well. So I mean, let's see how training camp goes.
You think Kenneth Walker is ready to take over today?
Quite possibly.
All right, man. We're gonna move on into our This Week in History segment that you might enjoy. June 15, 1877, Henry O. Felipe became West Point first black graduate back in 1877. June 16, 1909, Jim Thorpe makes his pro pitching debut. This will cause him to forfeit his gold medals. Did you know that? He had to forfeit his gold medals to become a pitcher in the ECL?
I did not know. I knew that he gave his amateur status. I know he had to give his medals back. That's kind of
We'll cause him to forfeit his medals. First African woman to earn a pilot's license was in June 15, 1921. The Humpty Dance, Cleavon, was released as a single June 13, 1989. A few years later, Ken Griffey Jr. hit his 100th home run to make him the sixth youngest to reach 100 on June 15, 1993. And Cleveland, I don't think we ever talked about this. June 15, 1995 was the day that the lawyer Darden asked OJ to try on the gloves. Do you think OJ gave a good faith effort to put on the glove? Huh?
It ain't fit.
But was that a good faith effort though? I mean,
yeah.
You grew up in Seattle. So I know you've been in this situation where every pair of gloves you had didn't fit you perfectly. Sometimes you just have to grab some gloves, right? And squeeze your hand in there, right? It didn't look like OJ was going out in the cold. He wasn't using those gloves to go out in the 8-degree cold outside. OJ was just, what can I do? What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, so I mean, that is a perfect example of why I never want the gloves that fit like really snug. I like the gloves that are a little bit too big. So they're always gonna slide out. So once you get the kind of like yeah, so the fit, yeah, kind of like that that the bag of gardening gloves your grandma has, and it's like, oh yeah, the gloves are over there. You gotta keep trying them on to the one that fits your hand. Like, oh okay,
or
it's
you
set.
get the left and right one.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
was OJ guilty, bro?
Orlaw said no.
The law says no. Oh man, here we are, more than 90 days. We're moving on 100 days now. Brittany Grinder over there in Russia. I don't know what's going on. Well, there's a war going on. Um, I don't know why America's allowing this to fester on. So I think incidents where she's not appreciated, respected over here for whatever reason. Just as a U.S. citizen, they should have got her in less than 90 days. We're getting on beyond this. It's being ridiculous. What's your thoughts, Kevin?
Yeah, Cam, we've touched on this a few times on this show, and it unfortunately goes straight to kind of the heart of where the country is. It's just not enough of a priority because of who she is. Um, ordinarily, just her being an American citizen would be enough, but given the situation that Russia is in with the Ukraine, it's become the ultimate pawn in a very deadly game of geopolitics. So unfortunately, given what she is accused of and the fact that they just keep pushing the trial back, and her opportunity to get free, and I mean it just goes right to the core of what's going on in America right now.
Yeah, she's in that horrible episode of Locked Up Abroad right now. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, but Serena's back. Serena says she's going to play in Wimbledon. What shots do you give her in Wimbledon? And will she win another major?
Hopefully she gets to the second round. I don't believe she'll win another major.
Second round, huh? So, okay, you understand about the pitch clock they installed in baseball, right?
Yes.
What's your thoughts on the pitch clock and the unintended consequence of installing the pitch clock is stolen bases are up? Do you like the pitch clock? Do you like the fact that stolen bases are up in the Major League Baseball?
I do like the pitch clock, and I am 100% cool with stolen bases being up. I mean, you got to be fast to do it. It hasn't been a problem in the last, let's say 10 to 15, maybe even 20 years. You worried about someone, stealing multiple bases in the season. So it's good to have that element, back in the game. And I think it's to the pitcher's disadvantage once it kind of gets towards, a little later in that clock, and they have to throw the ball. So it's not so much about like if you're going to make a move or not. Like you really can't make a move after if you're counting in your head to say 30 or whatever. Like, okay, well that dude has to go to the plate, so I can just kind of take off. So if you're speed enough to take advantage of that, that's
So
cool.
does the pitch clock start over if they once they make the play, once they make the pitch, or they throw it out, they don't make the play, so they throw it to first base. Do their pitch clock restart, or is it continue?
I believe it restarts at both instances, whether they throw to the plate or whether they throw to first base.
Okay, I'm looking at the game now. I can't see the pitch clock. I know in the state, you can see it in the stadium, obviously. But yeah, I can't see it in the game. I'm trying to see. I can't see the pitch clock. There's no pitch clock in the show on TV. So that's interesting. Cleveland, what do you think about the PGA versus the LIV tour? What do you think
It
about the
was,
controversy?
yeah, I've been wanting to talk to my uncle. He's an avid golf fan, and He was very much against the LIV and what Greg Norman and Phil Mickelson were representing, and just the audacity of them to think they could, challenge the PGA, and everybody was quiet as a church mouse. But once those $100 million signing bonuses started flowing, they mass exodus, like some really big, like, wow, I didn't know you were on the LIV side. Like, wow. All of a sudden, it's like that score has a little bit of credence to it.
If the guy made $60 million over the last 4 years on the PGA Tour, and he only made that money if he's been a big winner on the PGA Tour, and he can make $100 million in one season, I mean, that's almost a no-brainer, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, and certainly, considering where some of these players are in their career, quite a few of them are kind of on the back end, but they're starting to get a little bit of momentum from those people that are kind of like in the middle of their
they got
career.
the young guy. Well, they got the French dude, the young guy. Corey, what's the young guy? The young golfer for France, isn't he? I thought they got a young guy that they signed up for. It's like,
yeah, he's kind of in the middle of his career, and Dustin Johnson, a few others. So I mean, we'll kind of see where this thing goes. But from what I'm hearing is that just the business model in and of itself is not sustainable. So it just becomes a question of how long the Saudis want to throw these, this kind of money around. There's no sponsorship.
They got a lot of money to throw around. So
they have a lot of money to throw around.
If my check cashes at the end of the season, I'm good.
Right, but I mean, is it just a donation? Because again, there's no sponsorship and there's no television. So where do you make money back at? If you're giving players $100 million, what are you doing to generate $100 million in return?
Are they in it to generate $100 million, or are they in it to generate the recognition and hopefully the
recognition from whom though?
Recognition.
And that's not monetary. So again, you're just paying $100 million for recognition.
They have in Cleveland. Are you not knowing these people to blow money, to throw money around?
Oh, for sure, but I mean that's not sustainable, and they're only going to do it for so long. So
as long as my check cash at the end of the week, I'm good.
Well, right.
Cleveland. So we talked about the Avalanche game one. Avalanche upset the Lightning. Game one at Stanley Cup. My question for you though is, being that NBA, we're in the middle of the NBA Finals. Stanley Cup is just starting. Major League Baseball season, they play for their couple flags, ring of flags or whatever it's called. NFL, we know they play for the silver ball. What is the most prestigious championship trophy?
In all of sports?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl.
That's the most prestigious trophy at the Super Bowl? I wouldn't say that.
In American sports, otherwise, the World Cup, in soccer for the world, yeah.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, there you go. That's a good one. I think that tops it all, the World Cup. Fans, no Mariners minute because the Mariners are 28-34. They were 5-5, right at 500 last 10 games. 10.5 games back as they were last time we recorded. So the Mariners, in other words, the Mariners stink. And again, did you get your petition to have them move to Portland?
No, not just yet. No.
Yeah, it's in the middle. It's coming your way, buddy. So I want to end the show, fans. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Cleveland, let the people know where they can find you before we wrap things up.
At Clevie Wonder on Twitter and Cleavon Steele on Instagram.
The fans, so you can hit us up at @_voice of the fans, @_voice of the fans. That's your conduit to the show. You can participate in the show @_voice of the fans anytime. I'm checking it weekly or daily. So anytime you want to comment, say something positive, say something about Cleveland, @_voice of the fans. That's how you can check into the show. I want to end the show with a quote, fans. I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I lost almost 300 games, 26 times. I was trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over in my life, and that's why I succeed. I know you know who that is, right?
That sounds like something Kobe Bryant would say.
Well, that's close. That's something Kobe Bryant tried to be like this guy, Michael Jordan. That's what Michael Jordan said. He had the famous commercial walking down the hallway, with Gatorade commercial, I think it is. But over and over and over, I mean, what he's actually trying to say is he failed before. Don't be afraid to fail in your life, fans. When you're trying something different, don't be afraid to fail. You never know what can happen. And that's what's going to be the reason you succeed is because you failed so many times. So
Right. And if there was instant replay, he'd probably have one less championship. So.
Really, what against Utah or what against what team?
I mean,
Against the Knicks. What call are you questioning?
You already know.
I mean, what call are you questioning? You can't throw that out there and not back it up.
It's painfully obvious, isn't it?
No, I don't know which one. That's what I'm asking.
Really, you don't know what was egregious?
The push off on Byron Russell.
See how quickly you came to that conclusion.
I mean, that's only one. I mean, the Knicks when they.
Oh, so there could have been more that.
Yeah, Charles Smith.
Given instant replay, that might have been overturned.
Okay. Yeah, Charles Smith.
No, I was speaking of the Russell push off, but that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, that was certainly a push off. Well, anyway, fans, thank you guys for tuning in, Cleveland. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support, fans. _@ voice of the fans. Check into us 24/7. We're there. Thank you guys for your participation, Cleveland. Thank you for your participation. We'll talk to you next week, and go Warriors. It is tomorrow, right?
It's tomorrow. Go Devs.